me, that's what the Super Bowl is all about, those bingo moments. I had mine in Super Bowl 34, throwing the touchdown pass. We see Malcolm Butler, Julian Edelman, all those guys have their bingo moment. So we're celebrating that idea coming to the Super Bowl. Obviously, it's in Vegas, so that little kind of gambling piece that goes with it. But here's the deal. So Bingo Blitz, free app. Go download the app, sign up for an account. It's Bingo Blitz, again, free app. And if one of these defenses has their bingo moment and sets a Super Bowl record with 8 sacks in this game, then one of our account holders at home will win $1 million and hold up their card and have their bingo moment. So we're kind of celebrating all the things that are the Super Bowl in Vegas, a little fun with the bingo, and we're hoping somebody at home walks away with $1 million. Granted, I would not be promoting this if I was playing because I don't want a quarterback to have to get sacked 8 times. But since I'm not, I'm all for it, and I want somebody at home to win that $1 million.
So, Kurt, we can't let you go because you do a really good job breaking down some of the film on some. I don't know if it's a YouTube channel or Twitter or whatever. YouTube channel. And we can't let you go. We're in Dallas, and I know there are a couple of times that you broke down Dak. And with another playoff disappointment that we've had, a lot of people, including my buddy here, who's a huge Cowboy fan, and we text back and forth, and he's like, okay, he's not the guy. He just can't get it done. So as you watch the tape and you see how this thing is going, do you think that's the case? Do you feel that one day he could get to this moment where he's playing for a title?
So here's the thing. We never really know if a guy's the guy until he's the guy. And that's the hardest thing is that, we want to speculate or we think or we see moments that are really good, but we don't know they're the guy until they're the guy. And so it's one reason why we've had a lot of conversations about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's been really, really good, but I don't know if anybody's convinced he's that guy. Guy on the other side, Patrick Mahomes, he's that guy. He's that dude. We don't have any questions about it. I think Dak is at that place in his career where he's been a really good quarterback, but he hasn't shown himself the guy to elevate his play in the biggest moments. And that, to me, is what the guy is. Like, when your team needs you to carry them with your right arm, can you do it? When your team needs you in the biggest moments, do you make play after play after play, to win those games? And that's what Dak hasn't shown us. The dilemma we always have, though, is there's only 4, 5 of those guys. There's only 4 or 5 of that dude. And so you've got to make decisions. Dak. San Francisco may have to make that decision with Brock without knowing what he is. Okay, what else is out there? If we don't have Dak, what do we have? Is Dak good enough to carry us to a certain point, and then we need a team around him to win a championship? We've seen teams like that. Jared Goff, probably another guy like that he needs a team around him, although he's a really good quarterback, needs a team around him to win a championship. And so with Dak, I think he's shown us to be a really good quarterback, and that's consistently good. He hasn't shown us that next step yet. And so with Dallas, that's the question you have to ask is, A, will he get there? I don't know. A lot of times people kind of show us who they are, and we've got to accept who they are, but maybe he's still young, that he's got a chance. And then you say, okay, do we go and build around him, knowing this is the level we're going to get because it's better than most levels around the NFL? Or, here, I'll use this example. I use Cincinnati as an example, is that Cincinnati went and got Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton, to me, is one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the National Football League. He won a lot of games. He got Cincinnati to the playoffs every single year. But then once they got to the playoffs, you came to realize, okay, this is the ceiling for Andy Dalton. He can't elevate our team and get us to that next level. He can get us there, and if we build around him, we got a chance to be successful. But that's kind of where it ends. He did his job. He won a lot of games. He turned that organization around, and then they said, Andy, you've been great. We're going to let you go. We're going to go get Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow's that guy. And so that, to me, is the question that a lot of these teams have to face if they come to that realization that my guy's really good, but he's not that guy. Do I stay with really good and hope to build around him, or do I chase that guy? But you guys know, Dallas has had more success than some. But there's teams out there like the Bears. Yeah. They've been chasing that guy for decades and decades, and there's not many of those guys out there. Right. And then you got the Packers that have been chasing that guy, and they've had that guy 3 times in a row, it looks like. So, but that's the hard thing, is there's not many of them out there. So you have to balance all of that, or maybe you just have to hope. Dak's been really, really good. Mm-hmm. He'll get there. He'll get to that point, but I just don't think we know that yet.
And that's the thing going into year 9, into the final year of his contract. If you're Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, do you extend him?
Well, again, I look at the big picture and say, okay, what do we think Dak is? Right? You have got to make that realistic, and that's the hard part, right?
Right.
A lot of times we get connected to guys, and we can't step back and realistically look at it and go, this is what Dak is. And it's really just, not that it's what he'll always be, but this is what he's shown us to be. And what we just talked about is what Dak has shown us to be. And then you have to make your decision from there, saying, is that enough for us to do? Because you have to believe Dallas wants to win a championship, right? At least they talk about it all the time. And so if that's what you want, you have to ask that question. Does he give us that chance? And whether that's with, obviously he's going to demand the highest contract that's out there. So it's not as if you're going to get a bargain to keep him and build around him. But you've got to ask that question. Is he your Andy Dalton? And again, I think he's more talented than Andy Dalton and those kinds of things. But is he that guy where we got to go get our Joe Burrow? Or is he the guy that if we just build around him, there's enough there? The Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl. Yeah. He went to a Super Bowl. He was carried more by his team, but he did the things he needed to do. Dak is definitely that guy. Like, Dak can definitely do that. If you give me a team around him, there's no doubt he's got enough that can get you can win with him. But those are the kind of questions that you have to ask. And then you got to ask, is there a Joe Burrow out there? Is there a Patrick Mahomes out there? Because they're just, those guys are so rare. But if you don't have one, you know exactly what, right? Yeah. If you don't, Tony Romo was a great quarterback. He had a great career. He did not elevate in that moment. And so everything about it was great. And there was good times. They won a lot of games, but they never got to the pinnacle because that was kind of like the one thing that he never was able to do. And so those, it's a tough question because there just isn't enough of those guys out. If there was 32 of those guys out there, everybody would go, oh, well, he hasn't shown us. Let's go get the next guy. But there's just not. And so you wrestle with all of that. And what's the level of success you're chasing? What is good enough? Or is it scrap everything and we're going to just keep chasing until we find that Troy Aikman where we can go to 3 Super Bowls in 4 years and, and do that sort of thing. But, it's fascinating for me to cover, because I don't have to make those decisions. But it is a hard thing to do, and it's a hard thing to find. It's a hard thing to know, right? We don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be that dude. Yeah. He was that dude in college, but that doesn't guarantee anything. So, it's what makes our game great, but it also what frustrates a fan base or frustrates an organization that you can get really good, but sometimes really good just isn't good enough at this level when we've got great that's out there.
So is there any difference between Super Bowl I that you played in and Super Bowl III? You're a Super Bowl champion, Hall of Famer, but your mindset and how you felt before the game. Was there any big difference?
Not really, other than enjoying the process, I think is what it was. Is that the first time, you come to the Super Bowl and you're so focused on the game, and then there's all these distractions, right? All the media you have to do. And when I was in the first Super Bowl, like they did the MVP, banquet and announcement that week. So they would wheel me over to this, and then they would. And so like the whole week I was exhausted because I just wanted to focus on the game. And then the second time I went, I went into it knowing, oh, this is going to be the deal. You're going to be wheeled all over. You're going to have media everywhere. You've got to embrace that. So I think I enjoyed the process of the week more. When it came to the game, nothing was different. It was like, it came to the game, it was about focusing on the game. It was about being locked in. It was about playing your best football. And that's what it was. We played really good in our first Super Bowl, we won. We didn't play very good in our second one, we lost. We played really good in our third one, and we had a chance to win. And so that's the biggest thing is you just want to put yourself in position to play your best football. I think about no game more than the Super Bowl that I lost because we didn't play our best. And so you're like, gosh, we got all the way there in the biggest moment, and we didn't play our best football, and you miss those moments. Even if you play your best and you lose, I can walk away with that and go, that was an awesome moment. That was great to be there, and we played our best. Hey, Santonio, Big Ben just made their plays, and they beat us, and you tip your hat to them. But that game against the Patriots, it was just tough because – for whatever reason, we didn't play our best football, and that's all you really want in this moment.
Well, they're telling us your time is done.
All right.
We really appreciate the time. Very nice meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you guys as well.
Blitz.
Enjoy.
Download the app so you can get in and possibly win $1 million.
Thank you, guys.
When the defense just takes out Brock Purdy and just sacks him like 13 times, and you can yell bingo. Thank you to Kurt Warner. That was awesome to meet him, man.
Yeah,
he's great.
He's fantastic.
What companies deserve your hard-earned dollar? Which would you want to work for? How can you know if they share your values? Just ask us. Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks who really means business in supporting workers, customers, communities, the environment, and shareholders. We measure progress, track success, and help them be better. When you see the Just Capital seal, you know what's real, because just business is better business. Visit justcapital.com to learn who makes your dollar count.
Before AI can help your business predict demand, accelerate growth, inform decisions, automate tasks, reveal insights, generate content, you have to trust it. Introducing Watson X Governance, helping you govern any AI as data, models, and policies change so you can scale it responsibly. Let's create AI that begins with trust with Watson X Governance.
Bert Kreischer, which I don't want to oversell it. I mean, we just talked for just a little while.
That's huge.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it was talking to him, which is cool.
That guy's huge.
Got a picture made with him.
Funny.
I've seen him in concert before.
Really, in person?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was he shirtless?
I can't remember where this was. Jake and I went to go see him somewhere, and we were on a road trip.
Was it Phoenix last year? You guys went to see some comedian
Yeah,
last year.
I think that's it. Yeah. And he was shirtless the whole time. He's kind of a heavy-set guy, but he just takes his shirt off at the beginning of the show and does his whole...
He is funny.
That coming up in just a few moments. But did you know that Brock Purdy was asked about the thing that P1s
no way
kill me about on Twitter because they think he looks like Lee Harvey Oswald?
Does Brock Purdy know who that is?
Okay, so someone asked him about it at media night, and Brock Purdy responded. And I'm watching his response. I don't think he knows who Lee Harvey Oswald is.
I don't find that too surprising.
And hey, I get it. History, time moves on, and you're young. You got other things on your mind. You may have not even learned about the Kennedy assassination too much. I don't think that young people would even learn about it if they wasn't for a conspiracy, if they don't get into the whole conspiracy internet rabbit hole. Why would they even care who Lee Harvey Oswald is? But someone asked him, and I'll play you his response.
You and Lee Harvey Oswald circling around the internet right now. People think you two look alike. Did you ever hear that before?
I haven't. That's my first time hearing it. Yeah.
What do you think about that comparison? Physical comparison.
I don't know.
That was it.
That was it.
I don't know.
I was thinking, who is that again? Should I say it's cool or not?
He doesn't know who it is. I don't think.
Or maybe he does, and therefore he didn't know what to say about it. Like,
all right, if you knew who it was, don't you immediately say, "No, man, I don't even want to touch that."
Yeah.
You know, that's.
Well, look at that picture there. Doesn't that really look like Lee Harvey Oswald?
That one up there, it looks like it when Lee Harvey got it in the gut with a 38 from Ruby.
Yeah, it does.
Jeez. Someone texted me that Jack Ruby once managed the Longhorn Ballroom?
He did. When I went down to see the Longhorn Ballroom a couple weeks ago, his safe is there.
Jack Ruby's safe is there?
Yeah. I touched it.
Is it for sale?
And
oh, gosh.
Radio superstar.
And it's closed, and nobody knows the combo. What's in it?
I know what the combo is.
You probably do.
11/24, 1963.
The day after.
No, 2 days after. It's when he killed Oswald.
Okay.
Anyway, well, that's interesting. I'd love to go see Jack Ruby's safe.
Yeah.
See what's in it. The real evidence of the true case.
Could be.
Okay, and then also, before we get to the Bert Kreischer interview, this story about Toby Keith. I told you the first one about Toby Keith and Taylor Swift and about how he was instrumental in bringing her to the public consciousness because his record label signed her.
This doesn't involve the chicks, does it?
No, but Toby Keith got into it with the chicks.
I know. But upon his passing, the back and forth between Toby Keith fans and Chicks fans is just the guy died. Yeah, can we all just go, well, I'm sorry, his life has ended and just move on? And not like.
So the argument there is that he got really mad at the Dixie just the Dixies.
No.
Well, Chicks is offensive too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Just
they're talking about the Birds.
That musical group.
Yup.
Anyway, so after the Chicks were performing in somewhere in Europe, and they said, just so y'all know, President Bush doesn't represent all Americans, or whatever Natalie Maines said about President Bush.
That's why the fake Natalie Maines still calls our show and says, just so y'all know.
It was during the Iraq War, and it was after 9/11.
Yeah.
Temps were running high.
They were.
And Toby Keith's writing boot-in-your-ass songs about the Statue of Liberty, who gets into...
We'll put a boot in your ass.
Gets into... Is it fisting?
No.
She was...
No.
Shaking her fist in the air. I thought that's what you call it.
No.
And then he criticized the Chicks. They get into it. So after Toby Keith dies, the fandoms are going back and forth, yelling at each other.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, here's another story about Toby Keith, who is an Oklahoma legend, passing away at the age of 62. Have you heard the story of Toby Keith and Chris Christopherson?
No.
Okay, this was in Rolling Stone. And there's some debate as to whether or not this is a true story or not. But it was reported in Rolling Stone by the Tckt's own Ethan Hawke, the actor who wrote a story for Rolling Stone about a wild verbal altercation that he witnessed back in 2009, I think is when this article was published. But it was at Willie Nelson's 70th birthday party that had occurred 6 years prior, in 2003. And Ethan writes about it in 2009 in Rolling Stone. He says that he was a guest at Willie's 70th birthday party, along with other celebrities like Elvis Costello, Norah Jones, Paul Simon.
Wow.
But Keith was really said that he had already burst onto the scene with Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue and Beer for My Horses,
That's
which
what
he did with Willie.
Uh-huh.
So the night of the concert, Keith, who Ethan Hawke did not name, he just called him the star who had a monster radio hit about bombing America's enemies back into the Stone Age.
Generic.
So everyone knows it's Toby Keith. Toby walks past Willie and Chris, who were standing together, and tells Willie happy birthday. And then he makes a snarky comment to Chris Christopherson saying, "None of that lefty S out there tonight, okay, Chris?"
Uh-oh.
Well, Chris Christopherson didn't take kindly to this. And for those who don't know, Chris Christopherson, great songwriter.
Amazing.
Classic country. I mean, he's written some fantastic songs, friends with Willie and Waylon and all those dudes. Part of the Highwaymen with Johnny. Chris didn't take kindly to it, and he responds, "What the F did you just say to me?"
Oh, no.
Willie knew that Toby Keith had struck a nerve, and he says, "Oh, no, okay, don't get Chris all riled up." And Toby Keith said, "You heard me."
Oh, no.
And he starts to walk away, and Chris Christopherson says, "Don't turn your back to me, boy."
Oh, no.
Keith says, "I don't want any problems, Chris. I just want you to tone it down." Well, Chris Christopherson is a former Army Ranger and a helicopter pilot. Like Chris Christopherson, you study his life, he is, I guess, but certainly was back then, a badass.
Yeah.
Incredible singer-songwriter, a Rhodes Scholar, and an Army Ranger who could pilot his own helicopter. In fact, he landed a helicopter one time out on Johnny Cash's front lawn to deliver him a tape of songs when he was wanting to get signed.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris Christopherson. You don't mess with Chris Christopherson. And he was into bodybuilding. Also was a huge Hollywood star because he was starred in the Star is Born.
He was incredible.
Yeah. So
God.
Chris is mad about it.
Makes me feel like such a substandard male.
He says to Toby, "You ever worn your country's uniform? Don't what me, boy. You heard the question. You just don't like the answer. Have you ever served your country? The answer is no, you have not. Have you ever killed another man? Have you ever taken another man's life and then cashed the check your country gave you for doing it? No, you have not.
Damn.
So shut the F up. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Wow.
Then he told those nearby, after he dressed down Toby Keith, according to the story, you know what Waylon Jennings said about guys like him? They're doing to country what pantyhose did to... And then he has another word for going to third base with a woman.
Oh, boy.
It's very, very sensitive. Very, very sensitive language here. So that's the story that Ethan Hawke reported in Rolling Stone. Now, later at the ACM Awards, Toby Keith blasted Ethan Hawke for writing that article and said it was completely false. He said, I don't know Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke wanted to do some kind of superficial Rolling Stone article, and he did everything he could to make his story the greatest story ever in Rolling Stone, and it was fictitious. It was a fictitious, blanking lie. And Chris Christopherson said he didn't remember this happening. He didn't disavow that it happened. He said he didn't remember it happening. Chris Christopherson's wife seemed to remember that it did happen.
That something along those lines happened.
But Chris Christopherson and Toby Keith were fine afterwards, and even, they posed for pictures afterwards, and it was no big deal.
It doesn't sound like Toby Keith or anybody else in country music who would just, pick a fight with Chris Christopherson.
I know.
I mean, that doesn't really make sense.
Especially like Toby Keith, who was a songwriter himself.
Yes,
it's not like
who
he
understands
was just
all that.
A guy that sung somebody else's songs.
Yeah, he knows exactly who Chris is.
You have mad respect for Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
But if Toby Keith was drunk or something and emotions were running high at the time, I don't know.
Wow.
And what year was that?
That happened in 2003, so a couple years after
Toby's
9/11.
riding high on the we'll put a boot in your ass,
right.
And he may have been feeling chest puffed out.
Mm-hmm. So who knows if it's true or not, but it's another fantastic tale from the illustrious life of Toby Keith and Chris Christopherson, who's still with us, by the way, and that's one that I really want to see before he passes away.
I can't believe you haven't seen him.
I know, I never saw him, and I never saw Waylon either, and Waylon's one of my favorites. All right, Bert Kreischer, I run into him at media night, and Corby is the guy who's talking to him first, I think. Corby wasn't interviewing him, but I jump in with an interview question.
Okay.
Bert, what are you doing here? Are you just walking around?
No, I'm doing MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Like with anybody in specific, or you just
me, Tom?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. That's all I have for you. I have no more questions.
Oh, that was a question?
I have a question for your fans in Dallas.
Sure.
Kennedy assassination, your pet theory.
Oh. Well, I'm late to the whole assassination game. I didn't learn about the Zapruder film until everyone knew about it.
You mean like just a few months ago?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't read a lot. So I think it was done by the CIA. I don't think there's any way Lee Harvey Oswald could have accomplished it all themselves. And I will say, as a kid from Florida, I think the Bonanno family had something to do with it.
Really?
Yes.
Do you know who owns Lee Harvey Oswald's bathtub?
The Traficante family. What? Who?
Do you know who owns Lee Harvey Oswald's bathtub?
No. Is it Zach Bagans from Ghost Adventures?
No, it's this effing weirdo.
You have it?
Yeah, I own his bathtub.
How'd you get his bathtub?
They were tearing down his apartment, so I went in and took it.
I always wondered who gets that shit.
Yeah.
Like when they
looking at it.
It's psycho.
You're looking at it. It's me. I lay in the bathtub and I do my Unabomber manifestos on a typewriter. And
how much fun would planning an assassination be in that bathtub? Just pull out your leaf. You know what? Yeah. I got big ideas.
Yeah. Every once in a while, reach down, tug on it a little bit. It's fun. It's fun. All right. So that's your Kennedy assassination. You think it's CIA with help from the mob?
With the help of the mafia, the Tampa mafia exclusively. I think Robert Kennedy his brother unknowingly. Mm-hmm. But I'm bad with conspiracy theories. Like I still think
you certainly haven't made any enemies with that theory that you just threw out there. Mob and CIA.
Yeah. By the way, I got the new Robert Kennedy on speed dial, so I'll be getting a call from him shortly.
Yeah.
All right. I'm walking.
Yeah, you got to get going. Appreciate it so much.
Care. Thank
you. I want to take you to write the Thanksgiving bit, the drinking, smoking.
Corby's asked about writing different bits. How long did it take you to write that bit?
What about that bit?
So that's his theory, the mob, and I think it's kind of interesting the way he refers to Robert Kennedy Jr. as the new Robert Kennedy. It's Robert Kennedy Jr.
Right. The new Robert Kennedy.
The new Robert Kennedy.
Speaking of mob, have you heard his routine on robbing the train with the Russian mob? It's
funny?
insane. Yes, it's really funny.
Okay, all right.
What do you think of
That's
his
Bert
claim
Kreischer.
that there is no way that Lee Harvey could have acted alone?
You know what I think of that claim.
I don't think
Why
I've
didn't
ever
you
heard
get
him
into
talk
it
about
with him? Why didn't you say,
He's
listen,
so
let me tell you
definitive
something.
about that.
It's people who only know half the story and they hear a few facts and they just think, oh, it's impossible. I have people tell me all the time, say like, yeah, it was proven that the shot was impossible to make. And then they move on. I'm like, wait, back up.
Blackjack.
Oh, you're a blackjack guy.
Yeah.
You ever go in the sports book and do?
No, I don't
bet
even.
on
I don't even know how to do that. I don't even want to learn how to do that.
And are you up for the week? Down for the week?
I'm up.
You are?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Good
up.
for you.
I'm up. 50%, matter of fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could use a little extra money.
Half my investment I made it, so I'm a little.
Now, can you sit at a blackjack table and play for hours on end?
I could do that. Don't want to do that, but I could do that.
Yeah.
It's blackjack to me is entertaining. I like games, whether it's solitaire on my phone or
you're a
Candy
competitor.
Crush. I just like being entertained in that way.
Now, will you sip on a drink while you're playing?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
And what drink would that be?
What drink would that would be? That would be Hedadora, Anejo if they have it. It'd be a Repo if they have it back there. And I'd put a splash of Grand Marnier on a double barrel Repo and an orange slice in there. Yeah, I'm good. On a big rock? Yes, sir. That's the way I do it.
Emmett is always bearing gifts, and he always brings tequila.
Too bad y'all can't see these things. Oh, maybe you can.
Yeah, look at your camera.
Turn the camera. Give your boy a good shot here.
How much does a bottle like this cost? That's
man,
pretty nice stuff.
It's
isn't
about a $45 bottle.
Okay, all right.
It's reasonable.
You've been a Herradura spokesman now for quite some time.
I've been a Herradura spokesman for 13 years.
Wow.
We started in 2010 back in Dallas at the Super Bowl 45.
Wow.
There was a bunch of billboards back around. I'm drink responsibly and sip on this Herradura. And from that point on, the category just expanded, and it has blown up. So I've been with these guys, and they've been good to me, and I've been good to them. So
that's great, and we always appreciate you coming by. We have a few items to get into you with. We were just talking off the air. Disappointed to see your old teammate Darren Woodson again not get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it is disappointing, man. When you have a team in the 90s, you call them the team of the 90s, right? And all the quality players that we had on that squad. I mean, there aren't many teams out there that you can say had that much talent on the team. And winning 3 Super Bowls and having only 5 players from that Super Bowl team, myself, Troy, Michael, Charles Haley, and Larry Allen. Mm-hmm. I want to throw Dion in there, but he,
yeah,
you can throw him in there. That's 6. That's just, I mean, and you got the all-time leading rusher, and you can have one offensive lineman in there,
right,
and not have another defensive player like Darren Woodson, caliber of Darren Woodson. Come on now, I mean, them Steelers they get everybody.
Well, yeah, it's the '70s Cowboys always said the same thing.
They got the whole damn squad of the Steelers in there.
Yeah.
Especially the ones in the 70s.
Yeah,
for sure.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Do you think he'll make it one day, or do you think he may have to wait for the Veterans Committee?
I hope he doesn't have to wait for the Veterans Committee. He shouldn't have to, really. I mean, again, this goes back to the fundamentals of the criteria that you must be set to understand how people vote and what they're looking at when they vote. Devin Hester should have been in that last year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, period. He shouldn't even have to wait this year. He should have been in there last year, and maybe that space would have been open up for Darren Woodson to come in.
Right.
It's things that just doesn't make sense. Now I understand more why Dion says what he says. What is the Hall of Fame? What is it? Everybody's in. They're putting everybody in it. It's like
except Darren Woodson.
It's not even special. I understand where he's coming from now, because first of all, players don't even have a chance to vote on anything, and we know players better than most.
You don't get a vote.
A vote for what? I get to vote. November the 2nd.
Like they don't give you, because if you win a Heisman, you get to always vote on the Heisman.
Yeah.
Even OJ.
Yeah, from the jail cell too. It doesn't matter. But the point is, players should be able to participate in the process because we understand players. We know players better than most, and we're not biased in that regard. We don't care if the player was overly aggressive. If he was good enough and he was dominant enough, we accept it. And I don't care if the player didn't like me or not. He was good. Very good. He deserved to be in. To me, this is just that disappointing. It's about as bad as watching our Cowboys get bounced out of the doggone playoff.
Were you upset by that?
Oh, man, that's my kids how bad I was. I mean, man, I left the third quarter, bro. I left the stadium at the third quarter.
Oh, you were there.
I was walked out.
Okay, so
I was so hot.
So who are you pissed off most towards?
Oh, man, everything was, oh, my God.
Defense, stack? Who got your ire?
No individual players.
Okay, all right.
Everybody has to take blame for that. Everybody. There is no way in the world that team was prepared to go out there and play. There's no way. They didn't do a good job mentally themselves to be prepared to go out there and do what they needed to do. I don't know. I don't think the coaching staff got them really ready for that, because when you have not been to the NFC Championship game in over, God knows, forever.
Almost 30 years.
Yeah, almost 30 years. And you're in the playoff, and this is your team now. Y'all, I mean, losing Trayvon was one thing, but then you have everybody else step up and do what they did. And you got Bland out here getting picks, and the defense playing, the secondary played their butts off most of the entire year. And we can't even match our defensive energy on the offensive side. You can't even find CeeDee Lamb. How can you not find CeeDee Lamb on the football field? How can you not work your tight ends down? How can we can't even run Tony Pollard? Can't get a man 20 carries. Can't be committed to nothing, but just throwing the ball around and like, oh, this is great.
But they're going to bring it all back next year. It'll be fine.
Full jump. Full jump. You messing with the chemistry is jacked right now. You need a guy that can motivate these players and get the attention of these players.
You don't think McCarthy's that guy?
He had what? How many years?
This is his fourth.
All right. By now, I would have been fired if I wouldn't have got 1,000 yards in 4 years.
He's had 4 years and one playoff win.
Hey, man, it is what it is, bro.
And it's bad. What do you think about Zimmer coming in?
Somebody need to come in.
Yeah.
I mean, with Dan leaving, and I'm so afraid that Al Harris is going to go with him. Zimmer is a guy that can probably work with this crew. Zimmer is the guy. I can't think of no other defensive coordinator out there that I would want to see on the sideline with the Dallas Cowboys other than Mike Zimmer. No other. I mean, I'm trying to think. I heard Rex Ryan name was mentioned, et cetera, but Zimmer understands the organization. Mm-hmm. He's been trying to be a head coach right now. And I think maybe with McCarthy and Zimmer being together, there can be some kind of yin and yang. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't understand the mission. I don't know if the mission is to sell more tickets and to give us the illusion that we're going to be good every year.
Yes.
And to get ratings every year, or to actually go and win a Super Bowl.
It's the former.
Is this the most pissed off you've been?
Man, I ain't been this pissed about a football team in a long time. I mean,
is some of your anger reserved for Jerry?
No, I can't reserve it for anybody. But it's just my anger towards the situation.
All of it.
Yeah, it's all of it. I mean, because it affects everything. It affects the Cowboys and Jerry, because everybody want to point to Jerry, say Jerry this and that. Jerry put the eggs in the refrigerator. He put the bacon in the refrigerator. It ain't Jerry's job to cook the bacon or the doggone eggs. So
he's giving them the ingredient.
Yes,
McCarthy didn't scramble it up.
He's been giving them ingredients for a long time. That's why we have the illusion that we're going to be great. Great is overrated and overutilized. Greatness must be developed. mentally, physically, and emotionally as a team, not individually. You must come together like glue. You must come together as two hands coming together. And that takes work, and that takes hard work, takes sacrifice, takes commitment to the mission. I don't even understand their mission right now. Like I said, I don't know if the mission is to get more ratings and to sell more tickets and give us the illusion that we're going to be great. So we're in the conversation, the topic of conversation every year, which is great for the brand, but it ain't nothing for the fan.
Yeah, they've always struggled to have a plan and an identity to the team and a personality and a culture, and that just seems to take a turn every year.
You just touched on some things. Think about the identity and the culture in the early 90s. Think about that identity and the culture in the early 90s. That's what that team was built off of. And I told someone earlier, I mean, we started at the bottom. We had nowhere to go but up. But once you get up, it's a quick fall if you can't continue that. So I am a firm believer that if it worked for you, you have to figure out how to keep harnessing that and keep molding that and demand that from everybody. That means head coach, training staff, every player that comes in, they should walk by and see them daggone trophies and say, damn, I know what I got to do now. I know what I got to do. When I draft you, you know what forget the star, forget all the fandom, and you're going to get that. That comes naturally. But you can lose some of that respect. You want your respect, and I don't think these guys are respected.
It's kind of evil clown face looking, isn't it?
No, I would say it's more God's creature.
Oh, okay.
That's the look that I think that he
All right,
has.
That's what I was aiming at.
So I interviewed Carrot Top for a good 4 or 5 minutes. And then I go to check the interview, not there on the phone.
What happened?
I had my Bluetooth headset inside my bag that had turned on somehow.
Oh, no.
And so it had activated the mic on my
Bluetooth.
It activated the mic on my Bluetooth headset, so all you hear for 4 minutes is just the rumblings of my bag.
Oh, man.
I know it. So
that's
the Carrot Top interview is lost to history, which is a shame because I did ask him about a very famous Norm Macdonald joke that was made at his expense, at Carrot Top's expense.
What are you doing?
And got his reaction on that. I'll tell you what Carrot Top said at 9:15 today during the corner. But so as I'm reeling from the lost Carrot Top interview, I figured there's only one way that I can really salve my wound. And that is interview a famous Kansas City Chief that has Oklahoma ties.
Oh, okay.
So I interviewed number 64, Wanye Morris.
Okay.
Do you even know who he is?
Oh, yeah.
Junes, I figured you would since he's a Sooner.
There are three Sooners on the roster, I believe.
And
Humphrey and Bell and Morris.
And Wanye was a good-natured soul. Mr. Morris, we got time?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Dallas Radio. And you're Oklahoma, right? Didn't you go to Oklahoma?
I did.
And you pronounce your name Wanya, right?
Wanye,
that's right. It's a long A on the end.
Yeah, it's a long A.
Wanye. And is this your rookie season?
This is, yeah.
Dang. It shows you how easy it is to get to the Super Bowl, right? I mean,
it's not easy at all.
Year one, you got in already.
Hey, man, I'm just blessed to be a part of a great group of great teammates, man. Great coaching staff, so that's all that is.
Yeah. What's your favorite memory of today?
Man, that's a great question. I don't know. We didn't do much, though. We practiced today, and walking in was fun. I didn't expect this many people to be here, really. This is new. This is enough for a football game, really.
Right. I know it. I know. When you were young, who was your favorite football player?
Julio Jones and Michael Vick.
Ah,
yeah.
Did you like the dogfighting stuff? Was that pretty cool?
Nah, I was just a fan of them. You know, Michael Vick was on the cover of Madden. You know, Julio's been Julio since Bama, so it was just a blessing to watch those guys play and looking up from being from Atlanta, watching them play. So,
what do you think is the greatest unsolved mystery in the history of ever and historical facts and speculations?
I never thought of that before. Is water really wet?
Is that what you would have predicted?
That's the
greatest mystery. Is water really wet?
Where did he get that?
I don't know.
What?
It's a pretty good one. I was thinking about aliens or Kennedy stuff.
No, I think aliens real though.
You do?
Just like, ain't no way we just the only people here. That's ignorant. That's ignorant to think of, you know?
You know anyone who thought that they were visited or saw something?
Nah, man. Hey, but man, you never know what's going on in the world, so always keep an eye open.
Such a good point. If you won the lottery, where'd you grow up?
You said what?
If you won the lottery, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Savannah, Georgia.
Southern guy.
Yeah, I'm Southern guy.
What's your favorite Southern dish?
Shepherd's pie.
What is eggs made of?
Is that
what is eggs made of?
Is shepherd's pie a Southern dish, or is that like a British thing?
I always thought it was British.
Yeah.
Huh. Southern guy.
Yeah, I'm Southern guy.
What's your favorite Southern dish?
Shepherd's pie.
What is eggs made of?
Eggs. Eggs.
What are the ingredients in it?
The chicken that births it.
I guess it is kind of gross when you think about what eggs are. And then, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's still good, though.
Chicken menstruation, though.
That's like chitlins. You know, I
What
study
are they?
chitlins.
What
Chitlins
is
are
it?
pig
Like-
intestines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, don't tell me that.
I'm real Southern.
What's the most fun you can have with a cousin?
Go to the club, turn up, have fun. You know, cousins, we all good.
Mm-hmm.
We go turn up, go to the beach, turn up, go to the club. You can do just about anything you do anybody else's cousin. You know, have fun with them.
I was enjoying some lean a little bit earlier this evening, and debating, you know, like, what does it mean for you as a rookie to be in the Super Bowl? Like, are you scoreboarding all your friends right now, or are you pretty humble?
Nah, my friends remind me that I'm in the Super Bowl, actually. They be like,
They hitting you up for tickets and stuff?
Nah, none of that. They just be like, "Wayne, I can't believe you really made it, like, to the Super Bowl. First year. That's insane."
Now, if you win a ring, right, you guys win the game, you win a ring, are you going to immediately retire? That way you can retire on top?
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Now, you're not the Taylor Swift one, right?
No. You're hilarious.
Which one's that? What's his name? Kelsey somebody?
My boy Trav, man.
Yeah.
He up there on that podium, go ask him a question. He'll love these questions.
Have you met her? Did you get a chance to meet her or see her up close?
Yeah, man, she's cool people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You ever thought about, just as a tribute to her, wearing the same shade of lipstick that she wears?
No, not at all. That's her stilo.
Yeah. You don't want to rip that off.
Exactly. I can't do what she do.
And have you ever heard of the comedian Carrot Top?
Never.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for your time.
No problem.
He was funny. You know, it's wild. We're starting to get into the era in the NFL where these players are born in the aughts.
I know it.
Mm-hmm. Like he was born in 2000, and all these rookies, first-year players are, born around that time.
They didn't live through Y2K like I did. And
they didn't go through
really
all
struggle, you know.
So when I'm getting out of that, there's a lot going on in the world. And what was his other one? Cousins, we all good. That's what I'm going to take out of that.
Yeah, and believes in aliens.
What about
believes
eggs?
in aliens.
And shepherd's pie is a great Southern dish.
Shepherd's pie was originated in the UK.
Yeah. Okay.
I know.
Maybe where he's from in Georgia, that's a big thing.
I mean, I grew up in the Deep South, and I don't ever remember us having shepherd's pie. But maybe that's just, I don't know.
Maybe that's something his mom liked to make, and he just figured it was a Southern dish. He didn't know it was from Britain.
He's killing it these days.
That is a funny dude.
Yeah, that's at 9:15 today. And at 8:40 tomorrow, I have booked exclusively Johnny Pants and Don Marconione.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Together.
Okay.
Together.
Okay.
So there you go. Lateral and horizontally. But yes, I did run into a very famous Kansas City Chief, Darian Kennard.
Ah, yes.
6'5",
yes.
322 pounds of pure tackle. He's famous for a few reasons. One is because he's won multiple Super Bowls, and he talked with me exclusively. You got time for sports?
I got a little bit of time.
Yeah, you got some time for sports. This is your first year with the team, right?
Second year.
Second year with the team. So, y'all go to the Super Bowl last year?
Yep.
This your second Super Bowl?
Yes, sir.
How many years you been in the league?
2 years.
God dang, you're like the most successful football player of all time then.
Got lucky, yeah.
You're 2 for 2. Now, I'm sure they have you guys on a pretty short leash this week, so you can't go out and party and do all that sort of thing. But have you ever been to Vegas before with your guys and stuff, hung out and like gotten really crazy?
I don't know about crazy, but we definitely came out here, O-line group trip, and we had some fun, man, just enjoying it. And being the first year in the league, just kind of taking everything in, especially coming out here and hanging out with everybody and having fun.
Now, I would almost describe your look as you almost look like you're in disguise because you got the dark glasses, you got a beard, you got the long hair.
Try to.
Yeah. So it's like you could take off the hook-on beard and no one could identify you.
I mean, they might say I'm Maui or something, but I still get that a little bit, so I don't know if it really helped me at all.
All right, back to your crazy guys week in Vegas one time. Oh, did you guys ever think about going out to those brothels that are outside of town?
No, never. I mean, mostly it was just having us, enjoying each other's company and just having group bonding.
Just a sausage fest.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Just a lot of sword fighting and...
You know how it goes.
Yeah, you
The
know.
locker room, you know.
And guys being guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Always.
That's what it is. Now, tell me about the necklace that you're wearing here. What's the medallion on this?
It's a cross. So I've always had my cross since college. I've wore it every game, and it's stuck with me through thick and thin, through the hard times of my life. And
a religious symbol to you?
Of course, yeah.
What?
Oh, that was it.
Oh, okay, yeah. And then there's something else, though.
Yeah, Bushido Warrior. It's just something cool I picked up. We were out in, can't remember if it was Phoenix last year or Vegas, and we saw a shop, and they do like custom pieces, and they work with silver and stuff. And went in there and saw it. They were like, some of the guys were like, "This is your look, so you should get this." And I was like, "All right," so I got it.
What kind of warrior?
A Bushido Warrior.
What does that mean?
It's a samurai warrior. It's like a samurai. So
are you Asian in nature?
No, I mean I have a bunch of.
So
Asian
you're
tattoos.
Appropriating that?
I guess. I mean, I have a bunch of Asian tattoos, and I just enjoy the culture. I love their history, and I love a lot of their mythology behind things like that. So that's why I fell in love with that kind of thing. So,
what's your favorite Asian?
I'm big on Japanese. The Japanese culture. I like their mythology with dragons and guardian lions, and I got multiple things on my arms. I got a yokai. It's a form of yokai. I got a short samurai sword. I got
What's yokai?
Yokai is like a spirit. It's a Japanese spirit, so they have a bunch of stories and things like that for different forms and types of spirits.
You have any Shinigamis on you?
I don't have a Shinigami, no.
Okay. Have you ever been over to Japan or China?
Never had the funds to until last 2 years, and last year was a little busy, so I might this off season. Who knows?
Yeah, and what about the Asian women? Are you a fan of Asian women?
I'm a fan of a lot of women, but as of right now, I'm focused more on the Super Bowl.
If you were to rank the women of the world, do you have any preference?
Me? No. Honestly, being in college, didn't have a lot of experience with women. I was really focused on ball, and it's kind of how it stayed.
Man, college is the time where you're really supposed to experiment.
That's what they say, but I never got around to it, sadly.
What college did you go to? You went to...
the University of Kentucky.
They are the... Gamecocks?
No,
that's not right. Okay, so back to you. What kind of car you drive?
Me, I drive a Durango.
Can you drive a stick shift?
I cannot. No.
Ever wanted to learn? That's what you and the boys are doing when you're in Vegas that one week. No women.
I thought about it, but I grew up with a single mom, so she never knew stick, so I couldn't have learned from anybody. My grandpa didn't drive stick. I mean, he did, but he was up there in age by the time I was old enough to drive, so I didn't learn stick shift.
How many siblings did you have?
None, unless you count dogs.
Only child?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you your mother's favorite.
Oh, I hope so.
She going to be at the game?
She will. She will be here.
You got her tickets, or did you make her pay?
No, I'm not heartless, but no, I got it. She's going to be here. I got it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I wish you luck, man.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So,
poor guy.
2 years in the league, practice squad, 2 Super Bowl rings.
That's the way to live right there.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Pretty good.
Yeah, but don't you sell those?
I mean, practice squad player.
Yeah, and you can't.
No. You're part of the team.
Okay. But
you
Giorgio,
practice, you put in your work.
With them.
But even the most accomplished people in the world frequently battle imposter syndrome. If I was a practice squatter, I think I would feel like weird about wearing a Super Bowl ring, and I'd be like, this money better spent.
You're out there
somewhere
practice
else.
every day just like everyone else.
But
You're lifting weights in the off season just like
know,
everybody
but
else.
To your point, if
So you're saying that he deserves it just as much as Patrick Mahomes if they win the Super Bowl.
He's more valuable, but sometimes practice squatters get called up, and they got to be ready to go.
But if on game day you're standing on the sideline in warm-ups.
Yeah. If you win a Super Bowl ring and you never broke a sweat.
You never suited out. You were just in warm-ups.
Yes.
It'd be a little weird to wear that ring around.
Just saying.
Oh, okay.
But,
if you're
but
just
a
saying,
nice
then.
guy, and we all root for Darian Kennard to get his second Super Bowl ring.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Maybe the Super Bowl ring will help him pick up a woman.
I had the Timberwolves on the road last night, giving, I think, 4.5 at Chicago. Donnie said that is the most automatic win in the NBA. And they were up double digits well into the second half and lost in overtime.
Oh, no.
So now I'm minus $11.57.
Uh-oh. You're going to have to work a few more years.
I know.
Retirement must wait.
I thought I had a big win last night.
Well, we now have 2/3 of American adults living in jurisdictions with legal sports betting. This has exploded since the 2018 Supreme Court decision. So you don't just have to go to Las Vegas or Atlantic City to gamble legally. Now it's nationwide. And more than $20 billion is expected to be wagered on this Super Bowl. More than $20 billion.
Didn't it used to be around 3 or 4 when we first started talking about this?
Yes, when gambling was first legalized, and it has just exploded. About 68 million adults, 26% of the adult population, will bet something on the Super Bowl, and they're projecting it to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $23 billion bet on the Super Bowl. It's a really interesting topic, gambling in sports, and it's been front and center recently, not just with the Super Bowl numbers that have come out this week that are expected, but we've had it locally with the Mavericks being purchased by the Sands Corporation and all the talk about building a casino in Dallas. You got to get betting legalized first in the state of Texas. I thought yesterday when we were talking to Peter King, he had some really interesting thoughts, our NFL insider from NBC Sports, about how uneasy he is about gambling being legalized nationwide. And he talked about kids, and every kid now has a DraftKings app on their phone, and 15, 16-year-olds are betting.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why gambling has kind of been taboo for years and years and years, and you had to know a bookie on your block to place a bet, is that a lot of people believe that it does lead to potentially financial hardship or ruin because it's a vice. And if you get locked into that vice and you are chasing bad bets and you are digging yourself into a hole, that can be catastrophic for you and your family. And to Peter's point, if it starts really young, you better have a governor on that because that can get out of control in a hurry.
Yeah, there's cause and effect. I mean, it's been it's so much more accepted now. But I wonder, I haven't really seen the numbers of those who've stepped forward. Surely we've also had an increase in those who've had to go to Bettors Anonymous.
Yeah, it's like alcohol. It's a vice, and alcohol at one point was prohibited in this country. But at some point, businesses, governments, they all realize how much money there is to be made here. We're also seeing it with marijuana. And so all of this is being legalized, and it's really picking up speed in the area of gambling. And pretty soon every state will allow drinking and pot and gambling. And so now you don't have to go these roundabout ways to place a bet. You can do it very easily from your phone. And it's crept into the world of sports. Now we're seeing on football broadcasts the line, and the studio shows are talking about the line, and the experts pick against the line. We do that. We've done that for a long time here on this show with our fun football picks against the P1. We'll pick against the line. But now it's a real hot topic on these shows. Richard Deitch, the media writer for The Athletic, talked to Nance and Romo, the broadcasters for the Super Bowl this week, about gambling. And Richard asked Jim Nance, how do you feel about this? And Nance said, well, gambling's definitely out there. It's already happening in some golf broadcasts, thankfully not ours. I cringe. But I think broadcasters that have had to do it so far, they don't have a say in that. It's a revenue source for the companies that employ them, and I believe it'll be much more widespread with each passing year. The idea that it becomes commonplace in the broadcast, I give it 2 to 3 years. I'm pulling for the over. Romo said, to me, it's like a slippery slope. I grew up where we never talked about or thought about lines or anything like that in football. The angle that I try to communicate to the audience is how to win this game for this team or not to lose it in some cases. But once you start going into that world, it strikes me as you've got to be great at two things. Now you're affecting people's lives with what you're saying in some way. It just makes it feel less pure and less like the stuff that you grew up on. And he's got a good point. If they're going to be talking about gambling so much, there are going to be all these people listening to Romo for advice.
Right.
Even though it's like somebody talking about the stock market, they always say, this is not investment advice.
Yeah.
So all of these broadcasters are going to have to say, this is not gambling advice, but I think the 49ers defense is going to dominate this game.
It is funny, too, and I always thought about, I don't know, when you first started hearing about lines and you would hear, like when we first got into radio, I'd get calls sometimes, hey, what do you hear about so-and-so playing? Well, I don't know, he's listed as probable. Yeah, but have you heard anything else?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're out here and that's the first thing when we're going through the games, especially the NBA. Who's playing tonight?
Yes.
Are they sitting him, or is he hurt, or is this a rest night for him? It's a back-to-back. Man, it's like that's the information so many more people want to know now than just, the normal approach to a game.
Mm-hmm. So will we see gambling in Texas made legal? I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen relatively quickly. I've always wondered how the big money people in this state and the lawmakers in this state and the business people in this state feel about all of Texas going to Louisiana, Oklahoma, and New Mexico to spend a ton of money. And at some point, like, for example, there's this little town that has popped up across the border from El Paso called Sunland Park, New Mexico. And it's got casinos, and it's booming because you can't do that in El Paso.
Yeah.
So everybody goes across the border. Durant, Choctaw Casino, 80% of their visitors are from North Texas.
Yeah, Thackerville, just right across the border. That was my grandfather used to live around that area. If you would have told me when I was growing up that Thackerville was going to be the biggest casino in the United States.
Yes.
I would have believed that.
Even back when we were growing up, people used to go to Shreveport. They'd go to Louisiana to bet on the horses or to bet on those riverboat casinos. And at some point, Texas, and maybe led by the Sands Corporation, who bought the Mavericks, who are very influential, big money donors, maybe they will go to their lawmakers that they fund through their donations and say, we would love to be able to build a big casino the site of the old Texas Stadium in Irving, and we'd love the Mavericks to play there, and we'd love to make this a giant tourist attraction and keep all that money in Texas. Oh, and if you want us to continue to donate and all of our friends to continue to donate to your campaign, you'll see it this way too.
Oh, yeah. And they like you mentioned, they're very active in supporting politicians. And for those who think, oh, no, because I've heard my state representatives say this, Well, look at what Roger Goodell was just saying a few years back.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, we can bring in all this revenue. Okay, yeah, I guess we can have a team in Vegas. I guess we can let in FanDuel as a league sponsor. And, yeah, let's just go ahead and have a Super Bowl in Vegas while we're at it.
Yes. Goodell said in his State of the League address or press conference the other day with Tracy Wolfson, asked about gambling. He said it's our number one objective. Gambling and outside of gambling, the integrity of our game is critical. And so we spend a lot of time focusing on that, educating, making sure that all of our personnel are aware of our gambling policies. He said about 25 league employees had violated the league's gambling policy, and roughly 13 players have faced discipline. He said we take this incredibly seriously. We understand the risk. That's why leagues have never wanted to go there, because of the weird dynamic of potentially their employees betting on games that they are working or playing in or coaching.
Yeah. And I think you would have that either way, if it's legal or illegal.
Just easier, though, if it's legal.
It is easier. And it blurs the lines, too.
Yeah.
We've had NFL.
Hey, P1s, get half off half the year with TXU Energy Season Pass. You'll save 50% on energy charges all winter and summer long. It's the plan that saves TXU Energy satisfied customers $450 a year. Learn more at TXU.com.
Business has always been about turning a profit, making money. But can it stand for something more? Something beyond dollars and cents? We think so. We think that today, business has a higher calling, a purpose to be fair and just, to do right by their workers, customers, communities, and the environment. And it turns out companies successful doing that also do better for their bottom line. When you see the Just Capital seal, it means this company is a force for good. Visit justcapital.com to learn more.
If your business needs a new application, then developers will have to write code, a lot of code. If an application needs to be modernized, then you'll need time, resources, and caffeine. If that sounds daunting, then you need Watson X Code Assistant, AI designed to multiply developer productivity so you can generate code quickly. Let's create a more modern foundation for business with Watson X Code Assistant. Learn more at ibm.com/codeassistant. IBM. Let's create.
Once again, the Ticket presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
Sucking on chili dog, sucking on a dog, sucking on a chili dog, sucking on chili, sucking on a dog, sucking on a chili dog, sucking on chili dog.
And now, here are your hosts, Sean Bass and David Mino.
That's Cap. Thank you. It's a sweet spot in Las Vegas for one more segment. Special thanks to Kenny Chesney, Kevin Harlan, and Olivia Harlan-Decker. No cap. And at 2:55, here's Ham.
Thank you, Mino. Eatsies Market and Bakery and GimmeTheVin.com brings you G-Face Monty.
We have Jack Drops now. I love it.
Dude.
There's
Cap.
Dude.
No cap.
Yeah, no cap. No cap. Bussin'.
Internet's out.
Y'all shouldn't be so hesitant to let him update your lingo a little bit. He's just trying to help you out.
We welcomed him on the air to explain it to us.
I know, but then you berated him for talking funny.
That's Cap.
All right, we say hello to the hard line. Bob, Corby, David.
Corby.
Dave. No cap.
Once again,
No
live
cap.
from Las Vegas. Coming down from the Sphere High. Remember that?
Toads. Dude. They're still high.
Real life just doesn't do it for me anymore.
No.
You just got to go back into the
I need
Sphere.
to live in the Sphere.
By the way, I saw somebody sent me a note on the Twitter. Climber guy, pro-life Spider-Man who climbed the Sphere the other day. He did $100,000 worth of damage.
Oh, my God.
Because I guess, all of the LED panels on the outside, he was just crushing pixels or something. I don't know.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
What a
He
badass.
screwed up our Sphere.
Just crushing pixels, bro.
No cap.
No cap.
That's lit.
No cap. No, that's ass.
No cap.
Ass Yeah. you got.
Today is Friday, February 9th, the 40th day of 2024. 326 days left in the year. On this date in 1942, Congress pushes ahead standard time for the U.S. by 1 hour in each time zone, imposing daylight saving time, called at the time wartime.
And we need to go back to it. We need daylight savings time all the time.
Well, I thought that's what we were promised, and then it just kind of went away.
Isn't that going to happen at some point?
Well, it was supposed to happen this year.
What's Biden doing?
In November.
But we forgot, and we're just like, oh, crap, we did it already.
I think so.
We didn't set our clock
Sounds like
forward.
Biden
We'll do it next
forgot.
year.
Yeah, I need to put a little Biden sticker on my alarm clock. Says I did that.
The problem is they're saying is that it's too dark for kids to be outside.
Who's they?
Waiting on their bus for school. There will be certain times where that's the case.
We'll tell those
and
boys to get a car.
Bus? Take your car.
Yeah, take the Benz or the Rolls or the Mozzie. What's the problem?
Then get out, sweetie.
Have your driver take them.
God, there was no bigger panic than trying to get to the bus on time in junior high.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a story I wanted to tell you.
I didn't
know
have
anybody else that drove buses that went to school.
I didn't know if you were going to power rank your
bus.
childhood panics or not.
We were privileged in Mesquite.
We walked uphill both ways.
No cap. Bread was a nickel.
In the snow.
On this date in 1964, the Beatles made their first live American television appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show.
Let's go.
Also in 1964, the G.I. Joe was created.
Dude. Spare.
G.I. Joe.
A real American hero? Spare?
I just never understood.
Are you saying he's a fraud?
I'm sorry.
That's
I am saying
He
he's a
was. You would
fraud.
sniff him out.
You're sniffing him out?
I just never understood having one of those things, and then you would just kind of would sit there and you'd look at it, and they didn't do anything.
Didn't have a penis.
A kung fu grip.
What?
For what, though?
To grip.
What was Destro's deal? You know?
I don't know. Is this part of the set? I don't know a whole lot about Destro. What is the deal? On this date in 1966, the NHL doubled in size from 6 teams to 12 when the Owners Governors Award franchises to L.A., Minneapolis, St. Paul, Philly, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and St. Louis.
Oh, the Stars.
What year was that?
66.
Do you know the dumbest thing they could have possibly have done? They did.
What?
They put all 6 expansion teams into one conference, and all the existing teams are in the other conference. And so an expansion team had to go to the finals just by default.
Good thing we don't care about hockey.
Yeah, I believe they did, but it's just the worst I think they wanted to keep the original 6 together so they could keep making their money. And imagine being in the other conference. I want to say like 5 years.
So, like,
such a bad
the
plan.
Maple Leafs played the Des Moines.
Well, no, they didn't. It's the Canadians and the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs and the Rangers.
No, I mean in the finals.
Oh, I think that was the Blues were one of those 6 teams, Monty.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the Blues
course.
Bruins, I think, were the first one, maybe.
Okay.
There was a California Golden Seals team.
That's right.
No
cap. I just learned this today.
That's kind of badass.
On this date in 1971, Satchel Paige becomes the first player of a different league elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Well done.
What league?
National?
No, I definitely can't say it.
You can say Negro.
It's too much pressure,
It's
Monty.
the Negro Leagues.
He's black. Monty,
I
as
don't
a
see color.
As a half
That's racist if you
Hispanic,
don't see color.
you can say that.
Say what?
The word.
Which word?
The league.
Oh, I think secedmen are here to say it.
We'd rather not dip our
Oh,
toes
yeah,
in
into
those
racial
waters.
Good call.
Yeah, they like to stay away from that. In 1986, Halley's Comet visited the solar system for the first time since 1910. Its next return will be in 2061.
one of us will be alive to see it next time.
In 2061?
Yeah.
Will the Cowboys win a Super Bowl
Jack?
by 2061?
Dude.
No
Jack
cap.
will be alive.
No
No cap at all.
I'll
No
be
cap.
90. 91.
Still
Yeah.
crushing it.
Yeah,
With
probably
the
still
wiener of
getting
a
laid a lot.
30-year-old.
Internet's out.
Amazing head of hair.
You guys still getting laid?
In
Yeah.
2009, New York Yankees third baseman A-Rod Alex Rodriguez admitted to taking performance-enhancing drugs, telling ESPN he'd used banned substances while with the Texas Rangers.
We all have.
That
No big deal.
is a fraud.
If you're a
Sniff
fraud,
him out.
They're going to sniff you out.
Yep.
He doesn't even live here in the off season.
Nope.
And in 2014, Missouri
We do.
All-American defensive end Michael Sam came out to the nation in an interview with ESPN. He said he came out to his teammates in August.
Part of mine.
Play the song, play the song, play the song.
Part of
mine. I don't understand his world, but he's part of mine.
No cap.
Part of mine. Part of mine. I don't understand his world, but he's part of mine.
Dude.
I hope this guy is seriously like writing songs for Taylor Swift. Whoever put that together.
Dale Hansen?
Yeah.
Michael Sam?
No cap.
With her new album, Wabbity Bat. We're comfortable with that.
Could Taylor Swift have the biggest song of the year called Wabbity Bat? She could, right?
Oh, yeah.
She ought to do that.
Fart into a microphone and it'll be the biggest song.
We had a
of the
song
year.
called Ball Went to Ball
Yeah.
like 30 years ago.
I know.
So, yeah, she could pull
That's
that.
classic rock now, bro.
Exactly.
God. You and Jake butting heads in the 8th grade locker rooms.
Damn right.
Just, doing a mosh pit before Kim.
R.I.P. Josie.
No cap.
That's a bingo.
You going to the Non-Point show next week? Hell yeah. Deftones forever.
Still rock.
Yeah.
All right, P1 birthdays today. Hello, Monty.
Lando.
I'd like to wish a happy birthday to my two birthday Eskimo brothers, Bill Willington and Good Strong P1 and Faithful Ag Todd Cox. Happy birthday from Hey Dill. It's my 51st birthday today. My leaders are L4G, Davey, and Monty Sleep Apnea.
Dave.
Everybody have a happy football. That from Jason Hunt. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Todd Cox.
Big Todd Cox.
It doesn't make sense when you use it that way.
P1J says, hey,
That's
Tuba
cap.
Lips. I'd also like to wish Todd a happy 47th birthday.
Oh, Todd Cox.
His leaders are Tom Rathman, Haralabos Vulgaris, and P1 Caitlin. He'd like to hear Norm tell people who their childhood sports heroes can be. Keep up the great work, and Happy New Year.
Apparently my mic is off a little bit. Like people
your
are saying it's
boyhood
loud
hero?
and distorted.
In sports, did you
What do you
have
think,
one?
Jack?
It says sounds like
Did you have
old
one for
Waver's
your-
mic is 50%, while
Boyhood hero?
Corby's mic is running at 150.
Check
I don't know. I don't think I really
Is that
had any
cap or no
heroes.
cap?
I just took over.
Jimmy,
for
did you
Kelly.
have a boyhood hero in sports?
Just kidding.
Cameron Henry Aaron.
He's black. How was he
Gee,
your boyhood hero?
has he
Noticed.
God, I
thought that was
How
a
was-
drop.
No, I wasn't hearing it.
How was he your hero?
It's unfortunate.
How was he your hero?
You hang on.
Like, do you think he broke the news
see you
to
later.
Jimmy?
Like black people? How? You're white.
What if he referred to him in the Satchel
Dude.
Paige way?
What year was that?
2018.
1934?
No, what?
Like 2019?
Oh, okay.
Like
That was post-COVID.
post-COVID?
Yeah.
No way.
It was Jimmy Christopher.
Yeah, this was like
Yeah, he did
late
dry
90s,
docks.
right?
Yeah, early
Early
odds.
odds.
That's
I mean,
cap.
yeah.
But the world had heard of like Michael Jordan and
I don't think
Magic
so.
Johnson.
Jerry Rice,
No.
Tiger Woods, maybe
His childhood
LeBron
hero had to
James.
be Mike Schmidt.
Ricky
Yeah.
Waters.
There's no way.
Mike Schmidt.
It had to be.
Right.
All of my heroes have always
Johnny
been
Bench.
fullbacks.
Right, or Mike Sweeney.
Like, I wanted to like Adrian Peterson, but I had to love Mike Allstott.
You had to love Bob Lilly instead.
Like, I tried, but got called a traitor.
Bill
Hello,
Bates.
Monty, my hero of the hardwood. Can you please wish a happy birthday to Natalie Walker Graham, who handles the marketing for several successful ticket-friendly clients?
Yeah.
Natalie and her husband Dennis, known as P1 Dennis, are a formidable big P1 duo. That from Jim Quirk.
Oh, look at that, Jimbo.
Hey, Olivia.
Good dude.
Yeah.
And
What's that lady's name?
Olivia.
That's right.
Harlan Decker.
Nazir says, "Yo, Chicken Prince, I'm calling my own
Pretty
shot
hot.
here
She liked us.
and sending myself a long-time P1 birthday shout-out for today.
That's
It's
Cap.
my 55th birthday. My leaders are the Musers, OU reppin' Corby, and Sturm's underrated sense of humor. Give him a knowing nod from me that his sense of humor does not go unnoticed.
I rate it pretty highly.
Drop request if you can find it. The old man getting mad at his wife in the car as they accidentally left the phone on while they were lost in the DFW
I
area.
press the bar.
I got enough on my mind. I don't need your full.
That's one of the greatest, most random ticket moments ever.
Do we have that audio?
We're looking.
It's got to be because, like, that sounds like some sort of internet thing that just popped up. If that was a P1 who this couple called his machine or phone or what machine? Yeah. What am I, 90?
Oh, it's Cam Gordo.
His talking machine.
His talk machine. It was a sex prostitute.
But yeah, and it's like, I don't know what's going on here, but this guy just left this on my phone. You guys can have it if you want. And he sent it to me. I'm like, oh my God.
It's pound for pound some of the best audio we've ever played on the station.
Ever.
Too bad we won't hear it
Because
again.
we all know those people.
Sounds just like
Too bad we won't hear it again.
And here it is.
Ham said he didn't like it. He's not putting in the
I'm
part
going
of
to
the
find
sky.
it on the unticket.
We're going to move on while Ham looks. Birthdays. Joe Pesci is 81.
Hey,
Goodfellas, My Cousin Vinny.
do I amuse you?
He joins us now.
Please.
Oh, here we go.
I got enough on my mind right now. I don't need your bullshit.
Hey,
Then he killed her.
Who
I'm
would
gonna
talk
cut
to
your
his
head
lady friend like that?
ooh, I'm Joe Pesci.
He wasn't that small.
It's not bad.
He wasn't a little gremlin.
That's Cap.
There were two youths. Right.
What's that? Utes. Mia Farrow, 79.
There was a time back in the Rosemary, pre-Woody Allen, post Frank Sinatra. How about that? That woman has been ravaged by Frank Sinatra and Woody Allen.
So you
Like
would have
the
done her.
manliest man of all time.
Yeah, I wonder who was better.
Everything's cool.
So would you have wanted to be there pre or post shooting out Ronan?
Pre.
Okay.
Pre.
Yeah, I bet Ronan did a real number on that thing.
Do you think that Frank Sinatra was real tolerant with her, though? Think he had a lot of patience?
Get up, clean yourself up.
Out of my room.
Get out.
He's got the
you.
whiskey
Hand
just
me that
sloshing
ashtray.
from side to side in the glass.
Yeah. Now, highball, you out.
Kieran Hines of Game of Thrones. He's the one who led the Wildlings, 71.
Hunter.
Travis Tritt of Country Music is 61.
We know his friend Kenny Chesney. That's our genre now.
Yeah.
Barefoot Nation.
Please don't retweet the picture of Travis Tritt wearing makeup in the 80s. He hates it.
He's
No
saying
cap.
don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Wait, no cap? Or cap?
No cap.
No
That's
cap.
no cap.
Yeah, this is a no cap. Bruce, the comedian, 59. Rachel Bolin, bassist for Skid Row, 58.
Bolin.
Skid Row. That's.
The great Charlie Day, 48.
Oh my God! I watched Horrible Bosses on the way up here. Just
He
magical.
went completely out of character in that movie, right?
Look, he's got. There's a lot of Jack Black in him, but whatever it is, it's great.
He's got one pitch and it's good.
Legend.
Tom Hiddleston from Loki and King Kong, 43. Michael B. Jordan, 37, from The Wire and
So
Black
handsome.
Panther.
Still have the idea, though.
Speaking of Game of
Where's
Thrones,
Wallace at?
Rose Leslie is 37. That's the wildling that Jon Snow was getting it in with. with the ginger minge.
Aren't they married in real life?
Well, they were.
I don't know. I don't keep up with Kid Harington's love life.
No cap.
Sports birthdays. We have Vince Papale, 78.
Vince Papale.
Danny White, 72.
Where is he? Did he just give up after a while?
On age 78, he probably thinks he's had enough radio.
He still
row.
tries out every year for the Eagles.
It's me. It's Vince Papale. Yeah, I'm the guy that tried out.
Covered a kick.
They made a movie about me, Bob. So if you want me on.
No, I don't. We're good.
Right.
Turning
We're good.
63 today,
Mark
John
Wahlberg
Cook.
played me.
Well, then book him.
Why don't you and Rudy run a train?
Yeah, him or Rudy? Who you had to take one?
Rudy.
Vladdy Guerrero
Just to make
Sr., 49.
him mad that it wasn't about Rocky Kalmus's little brother.
Rudy, the worst story in the history of college football.
Jameer Nelson is 42.
Better than OU.
Watch it.
Saquon Barkley, 27.
Switzer would have kicked
Future
that little
Cowboy.
punk ass to the curb.
If Rudy would have
You want to play on my team?
gone to Oklahoma, they would have put a statue next to Billy Sims.
Jair Alexander,
Heisman
27.
Heisman
Packer.
Park with like a little 2-foot guy.
Shiloh Sanders, 24.
Safety?
The future of the NFL, Cooper DeJean, 21.
Oh my gosh.
That's a Warner back.
Best white cornerback of all time.
We're buying stock.
Yeah. Yes.
Born on this day now dead, William Henry Harrison. And this one's a big one for Lando. James Owen Sullivan, the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold.
Overrated band.
Kind of just went against.
That's my
I love
opinion.
Lando's like quick band reviews. It's great.
He just hates all of them.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's not true.
Are you a big
Bad.
fan of Rio?
You mean REO Speedwagon?
That's
debatable.
cap.
And down the stay still dead, Armando Chick Correa, Jeremy Giambi, and Ed Sable.
Oh, man.
And that's why today
Legend.
doesn't suck.
Legend.
Bye, Vegas.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Internet's out.
The Rolling Stone Music Now podcast gets inside the biggest stories with Rolling Stone senior writer Brian Hyatt.
And here's Lil Yachty with Tierra Whack. I've never been to a fashion show. I never did any Paris Fashion Week, New York Fashion Week, and I'll tell you why. Because I would always go to events and people would say to me, "Oh man, Yachty, man, I love your music, bro." And I should be like, "What song?" I didn't even, at the time, I didn't love my music. I would feel like I'm in a room with all these artists and they all respect each other, and I feel like no one respects me.
Rolling Stone Music Now, wherever you listen.
For over 10 years, Grammarly has been powered by AI technology that you can trust. With one click, you and your team can brainstorm, rewrite, and reply with personalized suggestions. Go to Grammarly.com/business teams to download for free.
We've all seen it at games. A fan holds up a sign that says, "Believe." Well, Ford offers vehicles you can believe in, like F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. That's why your Texas Ford dealers are a proud sponsor, the official vehicle of the Dallas Cowboys, and proud sponsor of Believing, based on 1977 to 2023 CY total sales.
Ford is the best in Texas.